They say the universe listens, not to your words, but to your vibration. It is said that long before the term law of attraction became a phrase whispered across self-help shelves and motivational stages, the ancient mystics already knew it. They called it different names: the law of correspondence, the law of resonance, the mirror of the mind. But the essence was always the same. Reality bends to the one who feels the truth of their desire before the world confirms it. In quiet temples, in desert caves, in dimly lit apartments of seekers across generations, this law has passed from one awakened mind to another. What if every moment of your life, every joy, every heartbreak, every coincidence, wasn't random at all, but a reflection of what you unconsciously broadcast into existence? The law of attraction is not a new discovery. It is the oldest secret wrapped in new words. The idea that thought creates form has echoed through the ages, whispered by Egyptian initiates, preached by Stoic philosophers, and coded in the very scriptures humanity calls divine. It is not about wishing or begging, but about alignment, the quiet certainty that the unseen already exists and is simply waiting for you to become the version of yourself who can hold it. To understand this law is to understand that you are not a beggar at the gates of fate. You are the architect of your own timeline. Those who have truly grasped it have lived lives that defied logic, because they stopped fighting the world and started commanding it from within. There is a strange power in belief, not the fragile hope that something might happen, but the unwavering knowing that it already has. The law of attraction begins where hope ends. It begins in the realm of assumption, the place where you feel what you seek is already yours. The mystics called it living from the end. They knew that reality is not a straight line but a circle, that every possible outcome already exists in the quantum field of potential. What you call your life is the version of that circle you are emotionally tuned to. Shift your inner frequency, and the outer world rearranges to match it. It is not magic. It is law. In the early 20th century, as the world industrialized and science replaced mystery, a handful of men and women began speaking again of this ancient principle. They called it the law of attraction. Names like Wallace Wattles, Florence Scovel Shinn, and Neville Goddard emerged, translating old esoteric truths into practical teachings for a modern audience. They spoke of imagination as the creative force of God, of thought as the substance of reality, and of feeling as the key that unlocks every door. Behind their words was a lineage older than any of them, a knowledge passed down from mystics who understood that the world outside is nothing but the mirror of the world within. But long before the books and lectures, before the quotes that fill today's social feeds, there were teachers who lived this law so completely that their very presence shifted reality. They didn't theorize about attraction. They embodied it. They didn't chase opportunities. Opportunities appeared as extensions of their inner conviction. For them, manifestation was not a process. It was nature. And through their lives, the law took on form. They were walking demonstrations of what happens when belief becomes absolute. The law of attraction operates whether you believe it or not. It is the silent mechanism behind every coincidence and every miracle. It doesn't reward good people or punish bad ones. It simply reflects the dominant vibration you hold. Like gravity, it makes no exceptions. Every thought soaked in emotion becomes an instruction to reality. If fear dominates your thoughts, life obeys and multiplies fear. If love, gratitude, and certainty dominate your inner dialogue, life amplifies those instead. The universe is not listening to your words. It is reading your emotional signature. Imagine standing before a vast mirror. You smile, the reflection smiles back. You frown, the reflection frowns too. The mirror doesn't argue or decide who's right. It simply returns what it receives. The law of attraction functions the same way. Most people try to change the reflection rather than the expression. They struggle against circumstances, unaware that the outer is only ever an echo of the inner. Change your vibration and your world must obey. This is not a metaphor. It is an energetic law as precise as physics. In the 1930s, Neville Goddard would meet a man named Abdullah, a mystic who taught him that imagination creates reality. But behind Abdullah's teachings was this same law, the ancient knowing that you must first see it within before it appears without. When Abdullah told Neville to sleep in Barbados, he was not instructing him to pretend. He was teaching him to occupy the state of the wish fulfilled, to emotionally and mentally live in the end as if it were already complete. That is the essence of the law of attraction in its purest form. To think from your desire, not of it. Science, in its own way, has begun to catch up. Quantum theory suggests that observation influences matter, that potential becomes real only when consciousness interacts with it. Energy responds to awareness, just as ancient mystics said. But while scientists describe the process mathematically, mystics lived it experientially. They didn't need formulas to know that what you focus on expands. They understood through direct experience that attention is creative, that feeling is command, and that your inner world writes the script of your outer reality. The reason the law of attraction seems to work, for some and not for others, is not because it chooses favorites, but because few truly understand what it asks of you. It is not about positive thinking in a shallow sense. It demands consistency of emotion, not momentary enthusiasm. It asks that you become the version of yourself who already has what you want and refuse to entertain contradiction. It is not enough to visualize. You must feel. It is not enough to want. You must know. The moment your inner world stabilizes in that knowing, the external world reorganizes itself with mathematical precision to reflect it. This is why ancient mystics spoke of faith not as religion but as technology. Faith was not blind belief in something external. It was the inner certainty that reality would follow the vibration of conviction. According to your faith, be it unto you, was not moral guidance. It was a literal statement of metaphysical law. Faith is the frequency of creation. The more you align with it, the more the unseen obeys. The law of attraction is not about forcing outcomes. It is about surrendering into alignment so deeply that the outcome has no choice but to appear. If you've ever experienced a day where everything seemed to flow effortlessly, and the parking spot appearing exactly when needed, the right person calling at the right moment, the feeling of being in sync with something greater, you've touched the edge of this law. Those moments of ease are not luck. They are glimpses of what life feels like when resistance dissolves and energy moves without friction. In those moments you are aligned with your desire instead of separated from it by doubt. And yet, for most, this law remains hidden in plain sight, camouflaged by logic and distraction. The modern world praises effort and overlooks vibration. We are taught to act harder, not to align deeper. But those who truly live by the law of attraction know that the real work happens in silence, in the unseen spaces of thought and emotion where worlds are born. The outer world is merely the echo. The inner is the source. Change the root, and the branches must follow. The law of attraction does not demand that you become someone new. It asks that you remember who you already are, a creator disguised as a human, shaping matter through the invisible instrument of consciousness. Every desire you hold is not a request, but a reminder, a signal from the part of you that already knows it exists. You are not chasing your desires. You are remembering them. You are tuning to the version of reality where they are already true. The law of attraction does not ask you to earn miracles. It asks you to expect them. Once understood, it becomes clear that every so-called coincidence was never random, but an exact response to your dominant vibration. There have always been those who understood this. Quiet individuals who, against all odds, seem to draw opportunity, fortune, and timing into perfect alignment. They were not lucky. They were aligned. Their secret was not effort but awareness. They lived as if the world was a mirror, and it was. Consider the story of Neville Goddard, a man whose life became living testimony to this law. In the cold winter of 1933, broken stranded in New York City, Neville longed to return to his home in Barbados. He had no ticket, no money, and no plan. He told his mentor, Abdullah, of his desire. Abdullah's reply was absolute. You are in Barbados. Not, you will be, not, you can be, but you are. That one statement shattered Neville's understanding of cause and effect. Abdullah told him to sleep in Barbados, to feel the warmth of the island, to hear the sea, to smell the salt air, to live inwardly as though he were already there. Each night Neville did exactly that. The outer world showed nothing. Days turned into weeks. Doubt crept in, but Abdullah remained unmoved. "Who told you that you are going to Barbados?" he said. "You are already there." And soon after, reality bent. A letter arrived with passage to Barbados and money for the journey. Neville was even upgraded to first class without asking. The world simply rearranged itself to match the vibration he had chosen to live in. That is the law of attraction. unseen order responding to inner conviction. What Abdullah taught was not superstition, but the precise mechanics of creation. He knew that imagination is not fantasy. It is the creative blueprint of reality. When you live in the end, the unseen orchestrates every step to make that end visible. To the logical mind, this seems impossible, but logic governs only the seen, not the unseen. The universe doesn't respond to probability. It responds to belief. To believe is to command. And those who truly believe are not merely hoping for change. They are authoring it. History is filled with people who lived by this principle without ever naming it. Great inventors, leaders, artists, all driven by a vision so alive within them that the external world had to comply. Thomas Edison once said, "I never failed. I just found 10,000 ways that didn't work." Behind that persistence was not mere determination, but an unshakable assumption that his vision was inevitable. That assumption is the law of attraction in disguise. The unwavering inner knowing that what you see in your mind will one day stand before you. The difference between those who achieve and those who wish lies not in effort but in certainty. The mind that knows cannot be denied. Look deeper into the world of those who changed history, and you'll find the same pattern. Nikola Tesla spoke of the universe as vibration. "If you want to find the secrets of the universe," he said, "think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." He was not speaking poetically. He was describing the law. Your thoughts vibrate. Your emotions charge them with energy. Your belief tunes that energy into a frequency. That frequency then determines what experiences can exist in your field. You cannot attract what you are not in tune with. To manifest wealth while resonating with lack is impossible. To manifest love while vibrating in loneliness is contradiction. The universe reads frequency, not words, and yet most people live as if they must fight for what they want. They push, chase, and strive, unaware that effort without alignment only strengthens resistance. When you chase, you confirm absence. When you assume, you confirm presence. The law of attraction is not about action first, but about vibration first. When the vibration is right, the action becomes effortless. That is why opportunities flow to those who seem calm and certain. They are not chasing. They are allowing. They have already received within, so the outer must follow. There are countless stories that echo this truth, though the people living them may never have used the phrase law of attraction. A woman visualizing her dream home for years only to accidentally find it listed within her budget. A man who lost his job, but instead of despair, held a vision of something greater. Weeks later, he was offered a position he had once considered impossible. These are not accidents. They are responses. The universe does not forget the vibration you emit. Every thought infused with feeling becomes an order placed with the field of infinite potential. It may not arrive when your ego demands, but it will arrive when your energy matches it. Ancient mystics understood this better than modern thinkers. They taught that creation begins in the unseen, that everything you experience is a reflection of states of consciousness. This understanding was once considered sacred knowledge, reserved for initiates. It was symbolized in scripture, encoded in myth, hidden beneath allegory. The command "ask and it shall be given" was never about verbal prayer. It was instruction on energetic alignment. Feel it is already done and it must come forth. But as centuries passed, humanity forgot the inner mechanics and worshipped the words instead of the vibration behind them. The law of attraction became diluted into wishful thinking, when in truth it is divine precision. This law is not sentimental. It is exact. It cannot be fooled by pretense or empty affirmations. You can speak affirmations all day, but if your emotions contradict your words, the universe will respond to your feeling, not your speech. That is why so many say it doesn't work, because they say, "I am abundant" while feeling desperate, or "I am loved" while vibrating with loneliness. The feeling is the prayer. The emotion is the magnet. To apply this law consciously, you must feel the end as real now. When thought and feeling align, manifestation becomes inevitable. The most remarkable truth about the law of attraction is that it is always working. You don't turn it on with practice or belief. You only learn to use it consciously. Every complaint, every worry, every daydream, every hope, all are vibrational signals shaping the probabilities of your life. You have always been manifesting. Now you begin to do it deliberately. That is the Great Awakening, not discovering a new power, but remembering one you've always had. The same energy that spins galaxies responds to your inner world. Consider the ancient words, as above, so below. As within, so without. It is not poetry. It is physics of consciousness. Your inner world creates your outer reflection. You can change jobs, cities, or relationships, but if your vibration remains the same, your experiences will repeat under different names. The patterns persist because the frequency does. Change the vibration, and the pattern dissolves. That is why true transformation begins in stillness, not in motion. When you shift the frequency of your being, reality must reorganize to meet you. Those who have mastered this law carry a strange calm about them. They do not hurry. They do not panic. They seem to live in perfect timing. It is not because life is easier for them, but because they have learned the secret. Nothing can come before it is welcomed internally. They do not fight the current. They align with it, and by doing so, they appear to flow through life effortlessly, while others struggle against invisible resistance. They have understood that struggle is not noble. It is misalignment. When you stop resisting what is and tune into what you wish to see, the universe bends quietly to meet you. The law of attraction is not only about material success. Its truest purpose is self-realization. Every desire you hold is a mirror calling you to expand, to remember your creative power. When you manifest something, it's not just the object that matters. It's the consciousness you had to become to receive it. The car, the house, the relationship, they are reflections of who you've decided you are. Every fulfilled desire reveals more of your creative nature. The more you create consciously, the more you remember that you were never small, never limited, never powerless. That is the ultimate gift of this law. It doesn't just change your life. It changes who you understand yourself to be. In quiet moments, when the world slows and you feel the hum of existence beneath your skin, that is when you touch the heart of this law. You realize that the same intelligence that keeps stars in motion beats your heart, and that intelligence responds not to your doubts, but to your certainty. The law of attraction is not something outside you. It is you. You are the attractor, the transmitter, the receiver, and the field itself. There is no separation between you and the universe. There never was. Once you know this, you no longer ask, will it happen? You say, it already has. There comes a moment on the path when the law of attraction stops being an idea and becomes an experience. At first you study it, you test it, you look for signs that it's working, you wait for results. But eventually something shifts. You stop chasing confirmation and start trusting vibration. You no longer need proof because the inner knowing becomes stronger than appearances. That moment is the beginning of mastery, when the mind quiets and the energy moves without resistance. You stop trying to manifest and start allowing creation to unfold through you. It is no longer effort. It is expression. Those who reach this level often describe life as a kind of dance, an elegant rhythm between thought and manifestation, between emotion and reflection. They don't push reality. They tune into it. Like a musician who knows how to stay in harmony, they sense when their energy drifts out of alignment and gently adjust it back. The law of attraction becomes less about getting and more about being. Because once you understand that everything flows from vibration, you realize the outer world is simply your own energy taking form. You stop asking, when will it happen? And start asking, who must I be for this to already exist? True mastery begins with inner discipline. The discipline to guard your thoughts not through suppression, but through awareness. To observe emotion without becoming it. To replace fear with certainty, doubt with knowing, and waiting with embodiment. The masters of old never chased miracles. They generated them by stabilizing their state. They lived in the end, not as a trick, but as their natural posture of consciousness. They knew that creation was finished, that every possibility already exists. The task is not to create from nothing, but to align with the version of reality that already holds what you desire. Once that alignment becomes natural, the outer world has no choice but to obey. The difference between wish and command is certainty. Wishing says, I hope this happens. Command says, it is done. The universe recognizes certainty because certainty carries no contradiction. That is why miracles flow easily to the mind that expects them. The law of attraction responds not to struggle but to congruence. When your thoughts, emotions, and assumptions all point in one direction, reality folds itself around that frequency. The outcome becomes inevitable. This is why those who are deeply confident often appear lucky. They are simply living in energetic alignment. They do not second-guess their desires. They do not oscillate between belief and doubt. They decide, they feel, and they move as if it is already real. The universe fills in the gaps. Many people misunderstand this law because they mistake detachment for indifference. Detachment is not apathy. It is trust. It is the quiet confidence that your desire is already secured, so you no longer grasp at it. You release it because you know it's yours. Just as you don't worry whether the seed you planted will sprout, you don't worry whether the energy you've aligned with will manifest. You've felt it, lived it inwardly, and released it into the field. That release is the signal of faith, the vibration of completion. The one who doubts keeps digging up the soil to check on the seed, and in doing so interrupts the process. The master plants once, waters with feeling, and walks away in peace. Abdullah once said to Neville, "Creation is finished. It's already done." This single truth holds the key to everything. Every timeline, every outcome, every possibility exists simultaneously. You don't create from nothing. You select from infinity. The law of attraction is your selector. Your emotions are the steering wheel. Your assumptions are the coordinates. The moment you assume the end is real, you have shifted timelines. The version of you who already has it exists right now. You become them by feeling their reality. That is how the unseen becomes seen, not through force, but through frequency. In the lives of great mystics, there is always a serenity that defies circumstance. They can be surrounded by chaos, yet remain untouched. That serenity is not ignorance. It is mastery. They know that the world around them is temporary reflection, a passing echo of old vibrations. They do not react to appearances. They hold their vibration steady until the world catches up. This is the final lesson of the law of attraction. Never react to the old. The physical world is a delayed mirror. What you see now is the residue of your past thoughts and emotions. If you fight it, you reinforce it. But if you remain aligned with your new vibration, the reflection must eventually change. Patience is not waiting. It is faith in motion. To live as a conscious creator is to reclaim your divine authority. It means no longer outsourcing your power to circumstance or other people. It means remembering that you are the cause, never the effect. When something in life appears wrong, the untrained mind blames the world. The awakened mind adjusts the vibration. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What within me is resonating with this?" That question shifts everything because it restores authorship. You begin to treat challenges not as punishments but as feedback. Each moment becomes a mirror showing you the quality of your current frequency. In that realization, you stop feeling like a victim of life and begin to move as its architect. As you practice this awareness, you notice something subtle. You no longer crave control. You stop needing to predict outcomes. You simply know that all is unfolding in divine sequence. Control is replaced by confidence, effort by ease. The law of attraction was never meant to make you chase things. It was meant to remind you that you don't have to. The vibration of I already am draws everything you require. You become magnet, not pursuer. You move through life like a calm storm, powerful, centered, unstoppable. This level of living brings with it a sacred responsibility. Once you know that your thoughts shape worlds, you can no longer indulge in fear or gossip or resentment without consequence. You become deliberate. You speak only what you wish to see. You hold gratitude as your natural state, because gratitude amplifies every vibration it touches. Gratitude is the language of alignment. It says to the universe, "I recognize the good, and I am ready for more." The more grateful you are, the more life expands to meet your acknowledgement. What you appreciate, appreciates. In time, you realize that the law of attraction is not a law of getting, it's a law of being. The more you become what you seek, the more naturally it flows to you. If you seek peace, be peace. If you seek love, radiate it. If you seek abundance, live as if nothing is missing. When your state and your desire match, reality has no choice but to reflect it. There is no resistance in resonance. That is the secret behind all manifestation. The merging of identity and intention until they are one. The greatest mystics understood this deeply. They did not teach their students how to attract wealth or relationships for selfish gain. They taught them to align with their higher nature, and in that alignment, all other things would follow. "Seek first the kingdom within," they said, "and all these things shall be added." The kingdom was never a place. It was a state of consciousness, the vibration of unity, love, and certainty. When you live there, manifestation becomes secondary. You no longer desire from lack, but from overflow. You don't create to fill emptiness. You create to express fullness. That is the final evolution of the law of attraction. Creation as joy, not compensation. Eventually, words like manifestation and law fall away because you no longer need them. You don't think about attraction any more than you think about gravity. You simply live in harmony with it. Your desires come faster, more fluidly, more naturally, until even the word desire feels too small. You live in a constant state of alignment, and the universe becomes your silent partner, arranging every detail with precision you could never plan. Life becomes orchestral. Your emotions, the music. Your thoughts, the conductor. Your reality, the performance. And through it all, a quiet knowing hums beneath the surface. You are both the dreamer and the dream. The masters of manifestation never claimed perfection. They simply lived with awareness. They understood that contrast, the moments of doubt, fear, or struggle, were not failures, but invitations to refine frequency. Each moment of discomfort was feedback saying, "You are focusing away from what you want." With that understanding, they would return to stillness, realign, and creation would flow once more. Life was not a battlefield to them. It was a canvas, and the brush was vibration. If there is one message the law of attraction whispers through every era, it is this: you are more powerful than you have ever been told. Your life is not a series of random events. It is a masterpiece being painted by your own consciousness. Every emotion is a stroke. Every thought is color. Every assumption adds texture. The universe is not judging your art. It is obeying your brush. Once you realize that, fear loses its hold. You stop asking life to change and begin shaping it directly. In the end, the law of attraction is not about becoming someone else. It is about remembering who you have always been, a fragment of the infinite, dreaming itself into form. You are not attracting from outside. You are awakening what was always inside. The power you seek is not separate from you. It is the essence of you. And when that realization settles into your being, something remarkable happens. You no longer try to bend reality. Reality bends to you, quietly, obediently, naturally, because it always has. So tonight, as you close your eyes, forget effort. Forget waiting. Forget doubt. Feel your desire as already complete. See it not as a wish, but as memory. Breathe it in until it feels familiar. Let gratitude rise as if it's already yours, because in truth, it is. When you open your eyes, walk not as one who hopes, but as one who knows. The universe will recognize the vibration and align to it, as it always does. This is not faith in something outside you. It is recognition of what you are. You are the creator. You always were.